basketball has begun as we are greeting you live from the proud city of San Juan, where the nation's top collegiate basketball teams continue their preparations for their upcoming Mother Leagues. This is the 10th edition of the FilOil Pre-Season Premier Cup, and you're watching it exclusively on ABS-CBN Sports and Action. In our first game, we have the two teams that won on opening day, Salle University and the University of the East going at it. And following that contest, we have Ateneo de Manila University taking on Adamson University. Mabuhay Pilipinas at maraming salamat po sa inyong pagtutok ngayon. Ako po ang inyong lingkod, Anton Rojas, joined by Coach Ronnie Magsanok. At mamaya, makakasama din natin at courtside, Janine Choi reporting for De La Salle University and Pauline Versosa reporting for the University of the East. Well, Coach Ronnie, we're here into day number 3 of this preseason tournament at mapapanood natin sa ating unang bakbakan the two teams that won on opening day.
Right, these two teams are coming off an opening day win a couple of days ago, and they're looking for their second straight win as they aim to be joining themselves in the leaderboard. But only one team will be able to do that, and they're trying to outdo each other in today's face-off.
And both these teams participate in Group B action, UE and De La Salle University. Let's talk once again about the tournament format para mas magkaroon ng idea ang ating mga manonood kung paano ang magiging takbo ng ating tournament.
We have 9 teams from the NCAA, 7 teams from the UAAP, comprising a total of 16 teams divided into 2 groups, and we will have a total of 7 games per group, and eventually only 4 teams will move over to the next phase. Top 4 teams will go over to play in the quarterfinals, of which we will be having a knockout system when we get to that point of the tournament.
So every game is really important for each team. So importante para sa LaSalle at UE na manalo ngayong araw to keep their chances of making it here sa crossover playoffs very possible.
Eventually, we will end come June 12. But right now, these two schools will try to be among this number of teams that will be moving over to the crossover playoffs. And remember that these two schools are also 2 of the winningest teams in the history of the FilOil Flying V tournament. Only 4 teams from both groups will eventually be moving over to the playoffs. 4 teams from Group A, 4 teams from Group B, and that draw will be ensuing in the crossover playoffs before eventually we will be having our wind-up come Independence Day, which will happen on June 12.
So after the first 2 game days and the game between Letran and LPU this morning kung saan nagtagumpay ang Letran Knights, let's take a look at the team standings right now to see where the Green Archers and the Red Warriors stand at this point of the tournament.
A very interesting opening day winners as we take a look at the leaderboard right now. Of course, a lot of champion teams that have won a title at least here in the history of the league in Group B, as we also focus our attention on last year's winner of this tournament, this preseason tournament. San Beda is right now in Las Vegas still trying to prepare for the upcoming NCAA season, and likewise this ongoing tournament as we go to the other side, wherein we will have about 3 title holders in Group A, of course, led by one-time champion San Sebastian and one-time champion National University Bulldogs.
LaSalle is a 2-time champion in this tournament at sa kanilang unang laro, nagtagumpay sila kontra sa Adamson University Soaring Falcons 98-88, and in that game, the King Archer, Jeron Teng, led all scorers with 30 big points.
He was a dominant force that was unleashed by first-year coach Aldin Ayo. Jeron Teng was so dominant that he only missed 7 times from the field.
Wow.
8 of 15 from the field in 25 minutes. 11 of 14 from the line. But what's impressive about this dominant archer, he only had 1 turnover in 25 minutes. Can play multiple positions, can hurt you in so many ways, and has been one of the more outstanding players in the last few years in the landscape.
Jeron Teng is a 1-time FilOil champion, 1-time UAAP champion, 1-time finals MVP in the UAAP, and he's about to enter his 5th and final playing year for De La Salle.
And that's the reason why he wants to push the university once again to having a very good preseason preparation, simply because they were out of the playoffs for the first time in a long, long while.
Yes.
How often do you say that the LaSalle team is out of the Final Four? And this is something that he does not want to happen again, and that this is something that he wants to erase from recent memory as he aims to push this school once again to elite status.
And you mentioned that they are under new leadership. Coach Aldin Ayo, coming from the winning Letran program to a winning program in
Yes.
De La Salle University. And like you said, they want to make it back to the Final Four of the UAAP when the UAAP starts once again in September. Now let's talk about the other team that also finished with a 6-8 record in UAAP Season 78, the University of the East Red Warriors. Coach Derek Pomaren is about to begin his third season as the head coach of UE, at meron din siya mga players who started with him 3 years ago. Renz Palma is one of those players.
Correct. Renz Palma, I saw that game versus Ateneo, that dramatic come from behind with in overtime. It was almost a lost cause for the Red Warriors. Down 7, under a minute left. But eventually, Palma had that big basket down the stretch together with that game-tying three-pointer by Bonbon Batiler. I was so impressed with the kind of game that Renz Palma showed in that win versus Ateneo. And the numbers will prove that he could be the go-to guy for the Red Warriors this season. 22 points, built around 8 of 11 from the field, and 86% from the line at 6 out of 7. Also had only 1 turnover in 26 minutes. No more Chris Xavier, no more Charles Mami, no Bertrand Awana, no problem for Renz Palma and the rest of the UE Red Warriors.
And if you're going to compare the numbers of Renz
Layo.
Palma, ang layo.
Layo.
So he's an entirely different player now, but let's see if he can remain consistent. And when we come back, we shall have tip-off of this matchup between Coach Aldin Ayos, De La Salle University Green Archers, and Coach Derek Pomaren's University of the East Red Warriors. This is the 2016 FilOil Flying V Pre-Season Premier Cup.
Here in your 10th FilOil Flying V Pre-Season Premier Cup. Let us meet the starters. First, for the De La Salle Green Archers. At off guard number 13, Andre Caracon. Point guard number 18, Thomas Torres. At center number 23, Ben Imbala. Power forward number 20, J-Boy Gobb. And at forward number 21, Jeron Teng. Head coach of the Green Archers, Aldin Ayo. And now let's meet the UE Red Warriors. Off guard number 16, Renz Palma. Point guard number 18, Philip Manalang. At center number 35, Will Bartolome. Power forward number 11, Clark Derije. And at forward number 10, Paul Varilla. Head coach of the Red Warriors, Derek Pomaren. The officials for this ball game, Dominic Pomar, Glenn Cornelio.
You are looking at the newly renovated FilOil Flying V Center here in the city of San Juan as we present to you the starters for this matchup between De La Salle University and the University of the East. Thomas Torres, Andre Caracot, Ben Imbala, Jeron Teng, and J-Boy Gobb para sa kupunan ng Green Archers. Para naman sa Red Warriors, Philip Manalang, Renz Palma, Clark Derige, Will Bartolome, and Paul Varilla. This is a very interesting matchup because we also have two coaches who have won championships in their alma mater as players and delivered championships to their alma mater as coaches as well.
Right, and you can say old faces, new places for our mentors, and that's the way it is in basketball. It's an evolving landscape not only for coaches, but even for players. And I was looking at the lineups of these two schools and checking a look at the names of those schools who played a couple of days ago. At marami na talagang lumipat, marami na nasa ibang eskwelahan. Yung iba from UAAP, nagpunta ng NCAA, iba mula sa NCAA, naglalaro ngayon para sa UAAP teams. At that's the way it is.
J-Boy Gobb, who only played in 2 UAAP games, Coach Ronnie, had a fabulous outing in his first matchup here in the FilOil tournament. 24 minutes, 20 points, and 7 rebounds for this sophomore.
Remember that they have a new mentor, meaning lahat ng mga pinuhunan mo last year, iba na ang pamantayan this year. And somehow, probably he fits into the mode of what a big man is. Their coach Aldin Ayo, and got extensive minutes. And he delivered huge numbers in his first game under Coach Ayo for the FilOil tournament.
Jeron Teng had that big game. Ben Imbala was a little bit rattled in that matchup against Adamson University. He couldn't get his rhythm going. He played 33 minutes, but only scored 13 points.
The reason being is because he missed too many free throws. I believe he missed 9 total free throws in that initial outing. And during the warm-up before this game started, I think he shot about 15 minutes from the free throw line as his teammates were warming up with their usual round-robin preparation.
And Benembala has waited a long time to play for De La Salle University. He hasn't seen a minute of action in the UAAP, but he's been recruited by La Salle since 2012. Now let's get an update on the UE side and hear from Pauline Versosa.
Winning the preseason with a win, the UE Red Warriors have gained their confidence and are looking to continue this momentum throughout their games. Now going back to their last game against Ateneo, the coaching staff commended them for aggressively contesting Ateneo's passes and emphasized that their sense of urgency was what made them win that overtime quarter. Today as they go up against La Salle, Coach Derek Pumarin reminded them that our defense should be able to dictate La Salle's offense. No easy baskets, no transition points. We must be able to beat La Salle with none other than our defense. Back to you, Anton and Ronnie.
Thank you very much, Pawi. Coach Derek Pumarin, his system is being utilized by various teams in the collegiate basketball landscape. JRU uses the Pumarin system. Adamson, of course, because Coach Franz Pumarin is there. Coach Alden Ayo facing the Pumarin system for 2 consecutive games today.
Well, in basketball, I believe that plagiarism is the best compliment. Even in the NBA, coaches always say that normally what they use is something that they have taken from a page of another coach.
Now let's hear from the DLSU side. Janine Choi has this report.
Anton and Ronnie, co-captain Thomas Torres said that games against UE are always tough. In fact, during their most recent game against the Red Warriors, which happened in a different league around 3 months ago, Thomas said that it was even tougher for them because not only did they have a new coach, but that during that time, the team wasn't that intact yet. Although now he believes that they're more gelled as a team, the roles are clearer, and they understand Coach Alden's system more. That is why in today's game, the biggest challenge for the Green Archers will be how to properly execute their plays and press. That's all for now, Anton and Ronnie.
Thank you, Janine. It was December when Coach Alden Ayo took over as the head coach of La Salle in a very surprising turn of events because Coach Alden had a 3-year contract with Letran. But after just the first year, winning the championship for his alma mater, biglang lumipat na siya sa Taft Avenue.
Well, things happen for a reason. There was an opening. There were decisions that were made. Schools going to a different direction. And Coach Alden Ayo has found himself at the helm of De La Salle Green Archers. 2 years after Coach Juno Sauler won a title for De La Salle, suddenly he's not in the picture right now. And I was reading online earlier, even Coach Frank Vogel of the Indiana Pacers, who is a fixture in the playoffs, has suddenly been given the pink slip by basketball great Larry Bird. So it's no guarantee that you sign on the dotted line for this number of years that you stay on and continue to hold on to a position.
Meanwhile, Thomas Torres knocks down a long triple. Thomas, like Jeron Teng, will also be playing in his final year for De La Salle University.
And no doubt Thomas Torres will be the primary point guard for Coach Alden Ayo in this coming UAAP season.
And we know that Coach Alden Ayo can mentor point guards. He mentored the Ant-Man, Mark Cruz, to become the great player that he was, winning a championship for Letran. As we see the shot from Thomas Torres once again, a 3-point shot brought to you by Pop O, the perfect entertainment snack.
I believe that this tournament is the best chance for coaches, especially the new ones, to know their players, to work on their rotation, 3, to just make sure that their players are exposed to elite competition. And right now, when you talk about the first 2 games of these 2 schools, they played against the best competition.
Yes.
UE against Ateneo, La Salle, of course, under a new coach, playing against a champion coach in Coach Franz Pumarin, who's handling a different school for the first time in the last decade and a half, I guess.
Kind of weird to see Coach Franz in blue, actually.
I'm sure.
And playing against the green, too.
50.
Meanwhile, inside pass to Renz Palma was disrupted by Ben Embala at babalik ang bola sa kubunan ni Coach Aldin Ayo. 8-2 is our tally. Let's take a look at this pass which was stopped by Ben Embala. That's why Palma wasn't able to hold on to that basketball. Dang to Torres from the corner. Misfires. Bartolome picks up the rebound, gives it up to Philip Manalang, former star point guard from the NU Bullpups. Alvin Pasaol knocking down a surprise three-pointer at pinitik pa si Thomas Torres after knocking down that triple.
Pinitik, ha? 15 points for UE in game 1, 4 in the first half. Big triple in the latter part of the fourth quarter to help out UE rally from a 7-point deficit in the last minute or so. That's the first three-point basket coming from the Red Warriors.
Let's take a look at it one more time. Alvin Pasaol, one of the new recruits from the UE side. And after that, well, hindi nakita sa replay na yun, but he did snap a finger on the jersey of Thomas Torres. LaSalle leads UE 8-5. Brother Bernie Oka, FSC, De La Salle University, always supportive of every team from the Taft-based institution. And they are off to a good start.
Coach Calais Garcia. And of course, Coach Mike Buendia. And onlookers. Coach Calais Garcia used to coach the Letran Knights.
Yes.
In the NCAA, and is also coaching in the professional league. Used to play for the St. Benil Blazers before in college. And very interesting to note that Coach Glenn Capascio is also still helping out Coach Aldin Ayo.
He was with Coach Aldin Ayo with Letran.
And Letran, right.
Speaking of Letran, they got their first win of the tournament under Coach Jeff Napa, winning against
Earlier,
LPU.
right?
Yep.
Against Coach Topex Robinson, who is in his second year with the Pirates. Taking
Meanwhile,
over Coach Bonitan. Yung sinasabi ko kanina, kung kahapon nanood ka, nandito siya, bukas nasa iba na. Pero ganun talaga ang buhay.
di lang para sa coaches, minsan pati rin sa players.
I was searching for Renzo Navarro's name doon sa box scores ng Lasal. Nandun na pala siya, nakalipat na siya. Bumalik na ng San Sebastian.
Wow. That's how fast
Yes.
things can change here in the
Si
collegiate
Mark Anthony
basketball
Talio,
scene.
di ba? From De La Salle, umuwi muli sa Cebu.
A long pass to Big Ben Embala. Thomas Torres to the former King Cobra.
Weight of expectations on the shoulders of this thoroughbred. And I'm sure that he will live up to the expectations given the time that he had to prepare for this preseason tournament.
Oh, and he gets a block right there. The 6'7" big man from the Republic of Cameroon, Andre Caracot, slicing and dicing for the basket.
There's no doubt that Ben Mabala anchors the defense for LaSalle, especially on the interior. But he can also be the first finisher on the break. That is how athletic he is, that is how good he is, and that is the kind of big man that they recruited to bring back LaSalle to the top.
Play of the game brought to you by Total Excellium, the fuel that cleans your engine kilometer after kilometer. And let's take a look at Big Ben once again. The block of the game brought to you by Total Excellium, the fuel that cleans your engine kilometer after kilometer.
Two highlight plays right away here in the first quarter for Big Ben. A slam and then that erasure of the Trans Palma penetration.
Last year, with Letran, Coach Aldin Ayo's best big man was a 6'5" Jom Soliano, who's not as athletic, who's not as powerful as Ben Embala, but he turned Soliano into a great player. Imagine what he can do with a guy like this.
And that's why he was chosen to take over this program. Given the kind of success that he brought into Letran.
13 to shoot.
And this is also the same ultimate mission for Coach Derek Pomaren to push one of the winningest universities in the UAP to to once again be a fixture in the semifinals. And together with his brother Dinto Pumaren, who is a legend of the game, and with Noynoy Falcasantos, they expect this third year to be the breakthrough year for the Red Warriors.
They're looking to make a return to the Final Four. Their last Final Four appearance
Tagal
was
na, no? Hindi nga makapaniwala.
2009. UAP season 72.
Probably during the time of Coach Dinto Pumaren. Probably.
Coach Lawrence Chongson,
Lawrence
actually,
Chongson.
when they made it to the finals
Paul Lee.
against Ateneo. Yes, Paul Lee.
Ganun kabilis. Sa bagay, may K-12 na nga ngayon. Si Larry lang ang hindi nagbabago yung tsura. Because it's the school he chooses.
Now, Coach Ronnie, we have Aljun Melesio,
Right.
the first ever De La Salle Zabel MVP. His game is very similar to the game of Mark Cruz. And now he's playing for the coach who helped Mark Cruz become the Ant-Man.
Even if Aljun Melesio only had 3 points in 15 minutes, Coach Aldinayo was on the dot when he said he is trying to adjust to a new level, but he believes that he's going to be an integral part in his rotation, being the second best point guard right now for his team. You talk about the Mark Cruz thumbprint for Coach Aldinayo. Well, I believe that's very positive for Aljun Melesio. And he was personally handpicked by Coach Aldinayo to be a part of this year's roster. And I saw Coach Aldinayo watch the finals of that, watch the slam basketball game, precisely to pick high school stars to be a part of this year's program for De La Salle. You covered it, I guess.
And Aljun Melesio is one of those high school
Really
stars.
good, really good player. Look at the way his body is built. He can be likened to a power point guard who exudes a lot of upper body strength. He's a born scorer, good decision maker. Just needs to make sure that he adjusts the kind of banging that there is that's present in this level.
Melesio has the basketball right now, defended by Charcos. Gives it up to the returning Kip Montalvo, who wards off as Bonbon Batelier hits the deck.
When you play for these two coaches, not only have to be able to execute the zone press, but your ability to guard your individual assignment is always up there, has to always be a constant. At saka yung matinding pagtsatsaga ng pagdepensa ng pansarili at buying into different defensive schemes.
R. De Leon, one of the most efficient players sa kumpara ni Coach Derek Pumaren, drains his first shot.
Hirap kalaban. Dahil big man who can shoot. Definitely a stretch big. Aldinayo not liking the call. They will turn the ball over once again.
Andrew Langston caught warding off, but I think Coach Alden is complaining about something else.
Langston did not play in that initial outing for La Salle in that game versus Adamson. Coach Ayo only played 10 players versus Adamson. Going to the flip side, UE's coach Derek Pumaren fielded 16 players versus Ateneo, of course led by the 26 minutes of Renz Palma and the 29 minutes of Edgar Charcos. Eh, warning. Mainit ang berde.
Our officials, Glenn Cornelio, Dom Pomar, and Buddy Cortez Jr., making sure everything's are in order. And Ed Charcos knocks down a corner triple.
On cue, 8 points in game 1. Ed Charcos getting maximum minutes in their first game as they almost take that ball away.
Narupay may have tweaked something there. He is grimacing in pain as he walks back towards the bench. We have a timeout. La Salle leads UE 15-12. You're watching the 2016 FilOil Flying V Pre-Season Premier Cup. Thank you so much for joining us on ABS-CBN Sports in Action. And Don Rojas together with Coach Ronnie Magsanop. And completing our broadcast team, we have Janine Choi reporting for La Salle and Pauline Versosa reporting for UE. 15-12 our tally.
De La Salle controlling the starter, scoring with Ben Mabala, pouring in 7 points here in the first. While on the other side, UE's bench points have really enabled them to stay close. 8 of their first 12 points coming from their second unit.
Benambala will take a seat. Abu Trotter has come on for Big Ben. Langston inside with a hook shot.
Inside scoring was huge for La Salle in that win versus Adamson. And today, once again, paint points, paint touches abundant for the Green Archers.
Alvin Pasaol short on that triple try. Jeron Teng corrals the loose ball. Teng up ahead to Abu. Abu Trotter with a hook shot. In and out. That's a rebound by Larupay.
Just 14 seconds.
But a foul called on Larupay.
I believe he stepped out of bounds.
Oh, he stepped out of bounds. As we see this Haynes School play of the quarter. Haynes, America's first name in comfort. Patiniero. Cross-court pass. R.R. De Leon. Looking for Bonbon. Bonbon Patiniero jacks up a triple. And Montalvo gets that ball to Aljun Menesio. And Langston and Larupay going at it. And an unsportsmanlike foul called right here.
A lot of unnecessary action between Langston and Larupay. I believe this is already the second time this has happened here in the first quarter. Saka out of the play, no?
Two shots for Omar Larupay. Left possession for the Red Warriors.
Well, because of that second motion by Langston, Omar Larupay will shoot these technical free throws.
Larupay played 7 minutes versus Ateneo, scored 2 points, grabbed 2 rebounds as well. Plays with a lot of energy, likes to bang bodies, and Langston has to get used to this.
I'd like to thank everybody watching right now on ABS-CBN Sports International live stream. Also, sports.abs-cbn.com/livestream. Our colleague, Boom Labrusca, Papeng is watching right now. At kasama niya si Andrew E., Earl Ignacio, and the entire cast of Dolce Amor. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Pwede. Salamat.
Of course, we'll see our colleague, Boom, soon sa NCAA Season 92. One of our anchors.
Lapit na, no?
Lapit na. Just
Lapit
around
na.
the corner, Coach.
Lapit na.
I was getting flashback earlier nung pinapanood ko yung Letran and LPU.
I saw that game.
5 seconds to shoot.
From time to time, you get a glimpse of what happened last year. As you will get used to that, there will be new faces along the sideline come the opening of the NCAA season. At ganun din naman pagpasok ng UAP.
Ed Charcos. Misfiring. Pasaol, offensive rebound. Wala pa rin. Langston recovers that basketball. Langston gives it up to Trotter. Trotter hops inside and a foul was called. Trotter about to go berserk, but Langston wraps him up. Things are getting heated up.
You were mentioning earlier, the pace is building up there, but it has taken a while to finish the first quarter, simply because of too many fouls given up. That was a near tackle, but Trotter will be just going to the line after being awarded these 2 free throws. Trotter in game 1 for La Salle had 6 points in 16 minutes with 3 rebounds and a single assist.
Number 23, Alvin Pasaol.
You know, Alvin Pasaol, for a guy who is playing for the first time for UE, he's a fearless kid. We saw those big shots that he made against Ateneo.
Played well, really played well.
Yeah, played well. And now he's bumping guys like Abu Trotter.
Well, to be able to succeed in this level, you have to be fearless. You cannot be intimidated by bigger names. And if you want to build a name of your own, you have to be able to hold your own.
Abu Trotter. So he will definitely be of use to Coach Aldin Ayo.
Laki, no?
With the mayhem system of Coach Alden Ayo, you have to be in excellent shape, you have to be athletic, you have to be quick, and you have to put 100% effort every time. And Trotter definitely has the potential to be a good part of the Ayo system.
And this is a team that has also won a recent bucket tournament somewhere in Davao, dominated by Ben Mebala and Jeron Teng. And I believe Mebala was named as the top player in that pocket tournament. As, the build-up continues for Coach Alden Ayo, trying to make sure that they build that connection.
Well, it's only been 4 months, Coach,
right,
since Coach Alden took over.
The difference between the NCAA and the UAP is that in the NCAA there are a lot of teams, meaning you will have the time to be able to build your system, recover if you tend to succumb to early goals. But in the UAP, it's a sprint with only 7 teams going at it.
Menesio, no foul call. Jeron Teng with a rebound and the putback. And that's only the first basket of Jeron Teng in the game.
But he has done a lot of other little things for the main archers.
He hasn't rested too.
Right, look at the way he defends.
Langston with a steal, Langston with a drive, Langston with a basket. This is the patented mayhem, full court pressure of Coach Alden Ayo. And that is the money shot for RR De Leon.
Majority of the points of UE have come from jumpers, either from the perimeter or from the 3-ball. Bad bounce here coming from Larupay, bad fall rather.
I remember Matt Nieto had a fall like that.
Yep,
against UE.
Well, on number 23, Alvin Pasol. Jolado for Jeron Teng.
Nakabangon si Matt Nieto, di ba?
Yeah, he had to be stretchered out.
Could be questionable for their second game. We'll see later.
We'll see. They will be playing Adamson.
Paul Varilla for Omar
try to bounce back.
Larupay.
Jologo.
I see Coach Gina Fabio right away.
For Kip Montalvo.
Exciting things also for Ateneo, Coach Ronnie.
Right, right. With the national team head coach, mentor of the Gilas program, Coach Tom Baldwin. Interesting. The recent developments, not only for Ateneo, but even for Salle. As NU has also started its primary build-up for the UAP.
RR De Leon. Quick inbounds pass to Bonbon Batilier, who goes all the way.
Nice Peyton Manning throw coming from RR De Leon. Perfect catch, perfect pass from the quarterback. Parang nabaliktad yung goals. No problem for Batilier. I believe he's inborn scorer.
Remaining in the first.
Batilier had that game time 3-pointer in the 4th quarter for UE versus Ateneo. Husay nito, hirap bantay.
He's a fighter. He's from General Santos City, from the HTC Wildcats. Montalvo has to put it up. Give Montalvo. Can't connect, but his team, Salle University, beats UE 25-18 in this battle between the two teams that won on opening day. Philip Manalang with a steal and the fast break layup. What about Andre Caracot? Look at this move. The sophomore guard out of the San Beda Red Cubs basketball program, Ed Charcos, knocking down a triple from the corner. But this was the play of the first quarter. Big Ben Mbala throwing it down off of a nice alley-oop pass from Thomas Torres. LaSalle leads UE 25-18 here after the first quarter in the 2016 FilOil Pre-Season Premier Cup. Inyo pong natutunghayan ang bagong FilOil Flying V Center, the venue that will be the most utilized in sports this summer, because we will have games on 3 game days every week for the 2016 FilOil Pre-Season Premier Cup. Thank you for watching on ABS-CBN Sports in Action. Anton Rojas together with Coach Ronnie Magsanok as Big Ben Mbala muscles his way against almost all UE red shirts, and he's able to draw foul.
Perhaps we can say that the one man who can stop Ben
To
Nabala is
carry
himself.
for Ben Imbala.
If he can be a better free throw shooter, then chances are he'll be a regular 30-point scorer for this school.
You know, in 2012, that was the first time napanood natin on national television itong si
Right.
Ben Imbala playing for Southwestern University, and he averaged 24.8 points per game in the 2012 NCC, playing against Ateneo, UST, and San Beda twice.
And a perfect chance to see Ben Nabala up close because we competed against him, and the first time I saw him warming up, I said, "Woo! We have to double team this young player." And it was a dogfight, but eventually his name, his face had a big impression, not only on myself, but on the rest of the competition here in the FilOil tournament.
And he's raring to go for De La Salle University as he gets hacked from behind. Babalik ang bola sa DLSU at babalikan din naman natin si Janine Choi at courtside. Janine?
For us, it's a battle of the fittest. This is what team captain Jeron Teng said after being asked about his expectations for today's game. He said that just like UE, they're also a pressing team. That's why they're expecting a lot of running. Even Andre Caracot actually jokingly added, ina-expect ko talaga na maging track and field to kasi puro takbuhan talaga. Kaya importanteng lahat kami makapag-contribute sa depensa. Kasi kapag maganda ang depensa ng bawat isa, mas madali sa amin makapag-convert offensively. Balik sa inyo, Anton at Ronnie.
Pwede. Middle distance, sprinting. How well did they defend their counterparts in their initial battle? LaSalle forced Adamson to commit 33 turnovers. UE had Ateneo committing 28 errors. At ilang beses ka tatakbo para pressure, ilang beses ka bababa para lumayap, at ilang beses ka rin papahirapan ng zone press at full court press nung kalaban mo. At magandang pagsasanay for these two schools, their coaches at yung kanilang mga players. Track and field, ano?
14 seconds on the shot clock.
And I was, actually Janine, kinikwento niya na during the first couple of practices of LaSalle, it was very tiring for the players.
Tutukod ka talaga pag hindi ka sanay.
5.
Ben Imbala, cross-court pass, Jologo for three. No, and the ball will go back the other way to UE.
A lot of players in the roster of Coach Adenayo, big name players. And they were still in high school. Jologo, of course, comes from the Batang Gilas program. Very successful, playing for the national youth team.
Oh, what a block by Ben Imbala. Jologo back to Big Ben. Look out below, but he could not finish the play.
Still, you have to be impressed with the way he blocked that shot earlier. Tried to anchor the transition play. Look at this sequence. Blocking and taking the ball away.
That was brought to you by the
And look at that again. That stop by Mabala.
The fuel that cleans your engine kilometer after kilometer. Coach Aldin making sure that he plays on both ends of the court, offense and defense. Now let's go back to the other side and hear from Pauline Versosa.
His second one on De La
To
Salle.
our senior veteran and previous player of the game, Renz Palma, on his thoughts now that it's his final playing year. And you know, Anton and Ronnie, in the previous seasons, we've definitely seen some flashes of his brilliance. But this year, Renz sees himself as a better and more aggressive defensive player. Scoring 22 points in his last game, he says that he wanted to step up and contribute, especially in that crucial time where his team lacked fluidity and communication. However, he is still very optimistic that the Red Warriors can make it not only to the finals, but also win the title as long as they stay focused. More from the UE side later. Anton and Ronnie.
Renz Palma, a transferee from Maria Aurora National High School. Although this will just be his third year with UE, as Pawi mentioned, this will be the last already, the last eligibility year for Renz Palma. Now they have to double team Big Ben. Langston for three.
Shot clock 14 seconds.
Ball will stay with LaSalle after Armenion tapped it out. Montalvo short on that triple try. Armenion, cross-court pass.
10 seconds.
And a foul was called Mark
number
Olayon
7,
went
Andrew
up for that
Langston,
shot.
his third. 2 on the green.
Rarely have
Archers.
seen half-court execution given the kind of ball pressure that these two
Two
teams have
shots for
exerted
Mark
against each
Olayon.
other. The majority of the points that we've seen have come from defensive stops that have led to open court baskets. Although UE has connected at least a couple of three-pointers.
A breakneck pace being displayed by
Right.
both these squads.
Relentless and up-tempo. Anchored, of course, on non-stop pressing defense. And I'm sure that these two teams also have nice press breaks to counter whatever that they have built as a foundation for their defense.
And to the players' credit, they are maintaining that pace, which means
Correct.
they're in good shape.
You have to build the foundation of which stamina and core training and, of course, strength and conditioning.
Raul Benuela.
Ralph Manuela able to score on that fast break. Langston gets it across to Montalvo. Trotter looking for big men. Montalvo gets it down low to Mbala. Too strong. And that will be a turnover.
Back in violation.
Here in the second quarter, UE so far with 5 points. LaSalle has only scored 2 points, and that's the reason why Coach Abinayo is resending Jeron Teng and Tomas Torres back in for LaSalle.
Main school play of the quarter brought to you by Haynes, America's first name in comfort. 27-23, De La Salle leads UE. Both teams 1-0 in the team standings. Shot clock winding down. Armenion missing on that three-point attempt. Here comes Thomas Torres. Torres goes all the way.
Everything is going forward. Everything is pushing the basketball. It's always going north. And slowing down is not an option for these players.
Players going north, the offense of teams going south.
Right.
Jeron Tango going straight to the hole.
This is literally only the strong will prevail. As Jeron Teng tries to outmuscle 3 Red Warriors in the paint. The question right now for the Archers is who will be the designated knockdown shooter for their team. Whereas we've seen from the Red Warriors, gauging from that game against Ateneo, that they have knockdown shooters from the long court.
Well, that remains to be seen because Coach Aldin did have some knockdown shooters when he was with Letran.
Of
Raynam
course.
Batak,
Right.
a great shooter. Mark Cruz could create his own
Kevin
shot.
Racal.
K-Rax also. So we'll see what type of, if those types of players will emerge for Coach Aldin here in LaSalle as Teng grabs the loose ball and is able to draw another foul.
Once again, Mabala having a hand in that defensive stop. You have a big guy who's not only an inferior presence, but also a relentless on-the-ball pressure. Quick, agile for his size. Really disrupts that ability of UE to bring down the basketball. You have to be able to protect that basketball, grip that ball, and protect it away from the prying hands of Ben Mabala.
Now, we were talking about Ben Mbala. The first time we saw him was in the 2012 NCC. That was also the first time Jeron Teng saw Ben Mbala. And Jeron Teng actually tweeted on November 25, 2012, "You are most welcome in TAF." And he was referring to Ben Mbala.
Took a while, but the journey had Ben Mbala eventually going to that.
But how did he know that Ben Mbala
Then I have to ask.
to go to
Then I have to ask his parents, Alvin and Susan Teng, for the foresight of their second son.
Ball is loose. UE picks it up. Armenion to Poblete. Poblete is able to draw a foul.
Bumping, grinding, running. From the opening tip up to this point of the second quarter, it's been that frenetic pace that we've seen from these two scores. Such an exciting and fun action to watch between UE and De La Salle.
And Ian Poblete will shoot two when we return here on ABS-CBN Sports End Action. The FilOil Flying V Center is the place to be all summer if you're a big fan of basketball. And like I was mentioning earlier, 3 game days every week. That would be Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Check the Twitter of ABS-CBN Sports for the complete schedule of this year's tournament. Now, only Penuela has scored a field goal from both teams here in the second quarter, Coach.
Hindi ka maka-execute talaga sa half court. You have to be able to break the press and try to score off layups. There was the putback of that free throw miss. So difficult to execute given the relentless ball pressure from the backcourt all the way to the front court.
This is that foul on Mbala. Here's Mbala once again, must make his way for the basket. Thomas Torres, Jeron Teng. It's a wrestling match for the basketball.
But if there's no foul in those last 3 attempts, then I don't know what the foul is. A lot of contact on that shot coming from Torres and Teng. No whistle. And ball goes to the side of QE. And that answers one question why there are limited field goals in the second quarter, because the physicality has escalated. There's no clear path to the basket, no open looks. A lot of contacts being allowed by the game officials.
A very different LaSalle squad. Very different from the system that Coach Juno Sauler was deploying in his 3 years in Taft Avenue.
Right, where execution was highlighted most of the time. You dump it down to the post, spread your outside shooters. They don't press a lot under Coach Juno. But he won a title for LaSalle.
Yes, in his very first year. Take a look at this last shot by Ian Poblete.
Poblete played well here in the second quarter. If other players are having a hard time getting themselves untangled from a lot of holding and bumping, well, Poblete has been able to find his way to the basket. Only played 3 minutes in that game versus Ateneo. Was held scoreless.
33-28.
I believe, Anton, that it's also worth mentioning that champion coach Shotang Kinsen is still a part of the think tank of the De La Salle Green Archers. He brings a lot of winning experience still to this program. This is supposed to be a pre-season tournament, but judging from what we're seeing, this could be a sign of things to come. The upcoming AP season seems to be a playoff game already between UE and De La Salle.
And again, both these teams finished 6 and 8 in the elimination round.
Right.
And did not make the Final Four.
I believe that's a game away from the Final Four.
Tabla sila eh. Out on the outside looking in for the Final Four. Jeron Teng, probably the fastest pace he has ever played at his entire basketball career.
Finally, a foul is called.
And
here in the second quarter, as we take a look at this.
This is swarming defense right here.
Perfect word. So para mga bubuyog, nambubuliglig, non-stop. Palo dito, palo dyan. Hawak dito, hawak dyan. Kung ano pwede.
Hindi makahinga ang opensa. Philip Manala floats it up over Mbala. And Thomas Torres is up and running.
That is always the sequence for the offense of De La Salle. Right now it's back to an 8-point lead for the Archers here in the second.
And a 10-point lead for the squad of Coach Aldin Ayo. LaSalle fans enjoying the squad's biggest lead of the game so far. It's a 10-point lead, 38-28. As we are greeting you once again live here at the FilOil Flying V Center. As we see this last basket, courtesy of fifth-year point guard Thomas Torres. Play of the game brought to you by Total Excellium, the fuel that cleans your engine. Kilometer after kilometer. Renz Palma is able to score for UE.
That's good execution in that half-court look. Coming off that press break by UE. Good big side cut as he was able to elude the last line defender.
And the pressure defense of UE forcing Trotter to travel.
That's a rare turnover for LaSalle's press break. Trotter caught in the backcourt with nowhere to go.
Yep, that's a good call right there. He definitely took a walk. 3 minutes and 19 seconds remaining here in this ultra fast-paced first half.
Parang ano eh, no? Parang Civil War. Parang si Iron Man eh, saka si Captain America.
Alam na natin kung sino si Ant-Man.
Tama. At alam natin may dalawang trailers pa pagkatapos ng credits. Ang tagal eh. Ang tagal.
Shot clock 21 seconds.
Ball will stay with UE as LaSalle continues to hold on to this lead. Panoorin natin muli.
This is the kind of effort that Coach Aldinayo is looking for his roster players. And this early, these players of LaSalle and UE in primary condition already, given that the UAP is many months away from its opening.
Philip Manana knocking down that triple in rhythm.
15 points for UE here in the second quarter compared to LaSalle's 15 second quarter points.
Jeron Teng, he was posting up Palma from close to the half-court line to shield.
Biceps pa lang, ulam na. Ayan, no?
Jeron Teng, well, if this is Civil War, he's Captain America.
Pwede.
With that type of physique. Palma.
Such fun to watch Renz Palma in the open court. Like a gazelle strutting downwards.
Philip Manala knocking down that triple A three-point shot brought to you by Pop O, the perfect entertainment snack.
Pag tumatakbo itong mga players natin nandun, parang downhill eh. Hindi parang level, di ba? Pag nag-treadmill ka, naka-level. O i-incline mo, sila parang lahat pababa eh. Sobrang bibilis.
Lalo na itong si Renz Palma. Napakatulin.
At napakalaki nung inangat nung antas nung laro niya compared to last year. At as we mentioned earlier, the top of the coverage could be the go-to guy for UE this year. Kasama si Bonbon Batiler. Dahil si Barila, napakatahimik pa.
Yeah. So, what's good for Coach Derek Pumarin is he has options. He has materials.
Meron na siyang pupuntahan.
And they're only down by 6 as we have entered the final 2 minutes of the first half. Trotter hands it off to Karakut. They throw it down low to Big Ben Mbala. Cross-court pass, Thomas Torres. Thomas Torres grabbing his own miss. They're looking for Ben Mbala. Mbala surrounded. Mbala kicks it out to Thomas. Thomas glides inside. Thomas Torres. What a move, and he's got 7 points in the game.
Earlier, he missed a deep corner 3 now on his second look. Did not settle for the outside shot. Attack the basket. Gusto ko lang ipunto, Anton. How many collegiate players can command a double team? Ben Mbala is one rare player who commands a quick double upon his catch of the basketball.
Shot clock 15 seconds.
I still can't come up with another name.
Wala pa, di ba? Si Kiefer Rivera, double sa labas.
Yes. But if we're talking about players who play in the post,
Diba?
Ben Mbala definitely stands out.
Wala pa ako nakita. Wala akong ma-recall eh. Kasi mas kinakayuko siya, para siyang bato. Ang laki ng katawan.
Well, Chibuze Ike from Ateneo had 20 points and 16 rebounds.
But you don't double him. He gets his points off the ball. Or coming from big side putbacks.
Jeron Teng free for that jumper. And he's got 7 out of his 9 points here in the second. And Larupay.
Again.
Oh! Jeron Teng doing some push-ups.
Aba. Oops. Veterano na rin si Jeron talaga sa ganyang klase na bakbakan. That's maturity shown by Jeron Teng and upper body strength. Gusto mo yan. Ang laki ng katawan mo eh.
Jeron Teng, let's see what happened here.
Sa pool. Okay. Tumalembong. 1. 1,001, 1,002. Kulang sa clap, di ba? Yung ba pag push-up, tumapalakpak pa eh. Talagang masasabi ko, anak talaga ni Alvin Teng. Lakas ng katawan eh.
I'm sure he is very motivated, Jeron Teng, to lead his team back
Of course.
to the Final Four and another championship. Prince Rivero, we haven't seen him in action today, Coach Ronnie.
Oo, totoo yan. At could be lost in the rotation so far. Rivero, it was Richie Rivero who saw action in Game 1 for LaSalle in 4 minutes. Prince Rivero, we've not seen Prince Rivero play so far in this Day 2 for LaSalle. As another man down for LaSalle, and this time it's Karakot.
Civil War talaga ang dating ng ating laro. Dito pa lang sa first half.
Wala pa si Spider-Man.
Hindi pa nagpapakita.
Si Falcon nandyan na, takbo ng takbo, liparan ng liparan.
52 seconds remaining. Let's see what happened to Andre Karakot here.
All I know is that something happened because he suddenly crumbled after the bala came out to receive that out-of-bounds play.
And the guy guarding Karakot was Bonbon Bacalier. And we know he's from Gensan. We know Manny Pacquiao is from Gensan.
So the analogy means?
Well,
He is tough.
something certainly happened there. And my intelligent guess is it involves a closed fist. But let's see what the official call will be.
Alam ko lang, walang standing 8 count sa ganyan.
Nako. Kasama sa mga alituntunin sa larangan ng boxing.
Kung
52
titingnan
seconds
natin
remaining.
yung number of fouls dito talaga, Anton, in the first half, napakarami talaga. A lot of extracurricular activities down the floor. And the physicality started from the onset. And it has spilled over even after this part of the second quarter wherein there's only under a minute left.
Game time, no timeouts. Game time.
11-point lead for LaSalle, biggest of the
Shot
game.
clock, 21 seconds.
Strangely, there was no call. The play was just stopped.
So, inadvertent whistle. Their jumper coming from Ben and Bala, and he comes up smiling and shaking his head. Ala Michael Jordan.
Number 23 pa.
Oo, di ba? Tumama, parang, sorry.
Karakot flips it up. Thomas Torres with 24 seconds. Jeron wants a clear out.
10 seconds.
Jeron says, get out of my way. The King Archer steps back, shoots. Jeron Teng strokes it.
Good jumpers for De La Salle brings their lead up to a high of 15.
And Jeron Teng is getting into the head of Larupay right now. R.R. De Leon, that's his sweet spot.
Automatic for R.R. De Leon.
He's had 3 shots
Right.
in the first half from that same spot.
Hindi gumagalaw eh.
All right, let's take a look at some of the highlights of this fast-paced first half between UE and LaSalle. Layup right there by Penuela. And then Big Ben Mbala getting the 2 points back. Poblete getting into the mix as well, flipping it up and in. Big Ben double team, linapas ang bola. Thomas Torres glides through the air, backs it off the glass for 2. It's been an intense and action-packed first half between LaSalle and UE. And we will have halftime statistics and more for you when we return only here on ABS-CBN Sports in Action. This is the 2016 FilOil Pre-Season Premier Cup. At the half, the score is 49-36, the biggest lead of the ball game for De La Salle University as they face the University of the East, the two teams that won on opening day dito sa 2016 FilOil Pre-Season Premier Cup. Maraming salamat po sa pagtutok ngayon sa ABS-CBN Sports in Action. And Don Rojas together with Coach Ronnie Magsanok. An ultra fast-paced and highly physical affair is what we witnessed in the first half, Coach.
A relentless action based, or rather predicated around non-stop pressing defense. And of course, we also saw a picture of a lot of free throws, a lot of turnovers in the first 24 minutes. UE has not led so far in the first two quarters, while LaSalle has posted a 15-point lead, which was the biggest advantage for the Archers in the first half.
And of course, Jeron Teng leading the way for De La Salle University, 12 points, and 10 out of those 12 points were scored in the second quarter.
25 points combined have Jeron Teng and Ben Mabala contributed for LaSalle. But going to the flip side, I believe that the best scorer for them is already RR De Leon with a total of 6 points. But the rest have coughed up only got a couple of free throws. The next best scorer to De Leon would already be the 5 points of Manalang and Renz Palma. And so far, LaSalle defense shutting down UE's points of attack, as LaSalle was also able to escape from a lot of transition baskets, and also found a lot of success as they were able to go to the line, I believe, 33 times in the first two quarters.
That is just insane. 33 times for De La Salle University, 13 times only for UE, but still, that's 46 free throws combined. From both teams. As we are looking at the halftime highlights brought to you by Chooks to Go. Masarap kahit walang sauce.
Pero ito, masarap panuorin si Ben Mabala, masarap panuorin ng UE Red Warriors. However, I'm sure Coach Derek Pumaren will try to have a better start to the third quarter, given that they were only down by 5 points, but eventually fell by as much as 14 as Jeron Teng's re-entry and Ben Mabala's re-entry spelled a huge difference for De La Salle's nice close out of the quarter doon sa nakalipas nating second period.
Pero matibay itong kumpana ni Coach Derek Pumaren.
Sana'y humabol.
We know what they did against Ateneo as we see the halftime stats right here.
I believe that LaSalle only had 2 more field goals than UE, but the major difference is they shot 20 more free throws than the Red Warriors, plus 11 in terms of free throws converted. They forced more turnovers, and their starters were outstanding, of course, led by Jeron Teng and Ben Mabala.
And we are all set to begin the second half of this exciting matchup between LaSalle and UE. Thank you so much once again to all of you watching right now on ABS-CBN Sports in Action. Ang banggit namin ni Coach Ronnie Magsanok, the leading scorers. Ben Mabala with 13, Jeron Teng with 12, Thomas Torres with 7. So the two veterans, Teng and Torres, up there. And of course, the guy who has been waiting for 3 long years to play for LaSalle, leading the way, RR De Leon. The steady performer, the veteran presence for UE with 6, Manalang and Palma with 5. Hindi pa natin nakikita ang pangalan ni Bonbon Batiler. Hindi pa pumuputok para sa UE.
Only 2 points so far for Bonbon Batiler, all scored in the second quarter. Remember that in game 1 versus Ateneo, Batiler had 14 points, and it was a huge part as to how UE was able to tie the game in the fourth quarter before eventually winning in extra time.
And Batiler was the leading scorer for UE last season, averaging 11.1 points per game. Third quarter is underway. Thank you once again for joining us. And Don Rojas together with Coach Ronnie Magsanok. And we have Janine Choi and Pauline Versosa reporting for LaSalle and UE respectively. De Leon missing, Mbala grabbing the rebound, and here comes Torres bringing it down for LaSalle. Torres with some space to shoot, unable to convert. Charcos being hounded by Karakut. Alvin Pasaol, nakalusot, nakapuntos para sa UE.
Very rare defensive breakdown for LaSalle in the half court. Someone missing his coverage, and UE makes them pay.
Karakut with a hesitation gives it up to the King Archer. Jeron Teng cross-court pass. Karakut had that shot, but decided to take another step. Unfortunately, he stepped out of bounds.
Kadalasan kasi nagsha-shuffle yung paa mo pag may nag-close out. And I believe that RR De Leon did that close out on the Thomas Torres doon sa deep left corner.
we have R.R. De Leon starting the third quarter. He has that range, and he can draw Benembala out of the paint.
That's the plan. You can see him popping out from the short corner all the way to the top of key. Whereas in the first half, he was a fixture down that left short corner, which he has shot 3 jumpers for a total of 6 points.
Jeron Teng. Derecho! Jeron Teng with another basket like a runaway train down the track.
Parang MRT mula sa TAF. Total of 15 points for this graduating player.
Now let's find out what Coach Alden told his players at the dugout. Pakinggan natin si Janine Choi.
Anton and Ronnie, for Coach Alden Ayo, he wants to see 100% effort, execution, patience, and most importantly, 100% consistency. He told the Green Archers that if they want to win today, they need to double their efforts on executing the game plan, especially on defense. He said that for as long as they execute their schemes, kahit nandun ang trap nila, maganda ang kalalabasan. He also stressed that they should continue playing LaSalle basketball regardless on which team is on the lead. Anton and Ronnie?
Well, when you say LaSalle basketball, it's a very different LaSalle basketball right now. It's all about mayhem.
Correct. And this is a different DNA that Coach Alden Ayo is trying to inject into the system of these young players. Mas kinaalanganin na, ang ganda pa rin tignan pag si Mabala yung umaatake sa loob.
That's a foul on Renz Palma.
Foul number 16, Renz Palma.
Now let's go to the other side and hear from Pauline Versosa.
We are not playing real UE basketball. These were the first words of Coach Derek. Back in the dugout after what seems like a defenseless first half, the boys were told that they were playing too safe and tentatively. We are no longer rookies at kayang-kaya natin makipagsabayan. Assistant Coach Dindo also pointed out that it's a man's game out there. But instead of focusing on the physicalities, they need to translate this in their game and lessen their fouls in the next 2 quarters. Sabi nga ni Coach Derek, magaling kayo sa arte at pananakit, pero hindi nyo iniintindi yung laro. Back to you, Anton and Ronnie.
Well, 33 fouls. That's a lot of unnecessary physical activity indeed.
At sabi nga ni Coach Dindo, mamaan ang laban, di ba? I like that when coaches call it as they see it. And don't sugarcoat it sometimes because kailangan maramdaman ng mga players mo kung ano talaga yung nagawa nila for them to be able to learn and improve right away.
Actually, mukhang may tama sa ilalim ng kanang mata ni Benembala. I'm not sure if he got that in this game, but there's definitely a little bit of swelling there.
Pagpag lang.
It's a man's game indeed. Palma to De Leon, inside pass to Derigue against Gob. Gob with a block. Torres, 3-on-1 fast break. Torres. Oh, Thomas Torres able to hang in the air and score. He's got 9 points.
Nice to see Tomas Torres healthy and in full control of the transition attack of De La Salle.
Haynes School Play of the quarter brought to you by Haynes, America's first name in comfort.
Tomas Torres had 6 points in 25 minutes versus Adamson. He has already eclipsed that first game scoring total. And right now he is, I believe, the third player in double digits for the Archers.
You were asking Coach Ronnie and wondering kung sino ang pwede maging knockdown three-point shooter para sa LaSalle. Thomas Torres is very proficient on the catch and shoot.
I believe so. And I know that given that Mubala and Gob and Prater are there for LaSalle, the zone defense will eventually come into play against them in the coming AP Wars and even here in the field.
J-Boy Gob getting a pass from Bala, and he will head to the line for 2.
I even had the chance to see this young man playing with the Ateneo Blue Eagles for a bit. I believe it was summer of last year.
Yes.
Before eventually moving over to De La Salle, and I knew that he was agile, very strong leaper, good inside game. So that when I saw the huge numbers that he posted in game 1 of this tournament on opening day, I was really happy for his development. And normally it's hard to make a decision for these young players coming out of high school. What's go to, given the kind of talent that is overloaded right now in the collegiate ranks. Overflowing rather in the collegiate ranks.
Especially on a team like De La Salle University, as you mentioned. Navarro back with San Sebastian.
Jason
Bala.
Perkins is not even in
Yes.
this roster. Prince Rivero is not even playing for them yet.
That's how high the competition is.
Correct.
Clark Derigue bumping J-Boy Cobb.
Paging Iron Man, kailangan. Kailangan naka-armor ka dito. Full body armor. Hindi lamang full body suit eh. Oh, hindi kami kasali.
Ball bouncing right in front of us here. 6 minutes and 15 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. LaSalle with a 12-point lead, 56-44. Teng looking for a teammate, bounces it to Benembala. Back to Teng. Meron Teng wants a clear out. Teng to Big Ben. Big Ben and Bala throws it down with both hands.
That's a glimpse on how good this young man is. Perfect pass, an even better finish. Second highlight play of this game for Ben Bala.
3 years he's been waiting.
So that's a volcano waiting to erupt.
Yes, that is a very accurate way to put it. Very good analogy right there. Big Ben and Bala. Torres stops, Fox doesn't drop. Palma with the board.
Ball number 13, Andre.
Coach Derek Pumarin has to settle his troops down. 58-46 is our tally. Magbabalik po ang 2016 FilOil Flying V Pre-Season Premier Cup. Intense collegiate basketball action happening right now at the FilOil Flying V Center in San Juan. We have UE versus LaSalle ongoing as we see this play of the game brought to you by Total Excellium, the fuel that cleans your engine kilometer after kilometer.
Ganda ng rebote pass ni Jeron Teng eh. Sakto. Pero mabigat doon. Parang na-hypnotize yung mga frontline defenders kay Mebala pagkatapos niyang masalo. Sige mo hop, skip, and a slam. Di ba dapat hop, skip, and a jump lang?
Ultra athletic.
Sobra.
And this is what you have to do if you're matched up against Ben Abala. You draw him out of the paint.
Easier said than done though, because
Yes.
how many times can you really convert from the long court and force Mebala to step out of the paint?
Number 11, Clark Derigue. That's his 4th personal.
Yung sinasabi ni Coach Derek Pumarin kanina, pananakit at ano pa ba yung isang description niya anyway.
New shots been
Instead of focusing on what is needed to be done to overturn this double-digit deficit. Somehow they were the ones, they were the unit that got caught up in a lot of unnecessary contact that led to too many fouls for them at too many free throws awarded by UE for the Archers.
Clark Derigue with 4 personal fouls right now.
That's huge.
Yeah, still a lot of basketball to be played here. All right, let's look at Derigue underneath.
Alam mo, tinuturo lang yung swim na paglaban sa blackout. I don't think there was any intent for Derigue to harm yung nagba-blackout sa kanya. But there has to be a technique that you use to counter kasi nasa likod ka eh. So, bat out yung kalaban, anong gagawin mo para makuha yung inside position?
Because if you swing your arm like that, the officials might think that there is some bad intentions
If you
involved.
swing your arm above the shoulder, that's different.
Yes.
But I believe that that was a legal move. So just try and fight for an inside position with no intention to harm. Kaya lang, yun ang naipito. At ang bola na ibigay dito sa Lasal for 2 free throws plus possession, and they continue to protect a 14-point lead, make that 15. As Jeron Teng continues to be a freight train when you talk about scoring for the Archers.
16 big points for Jeron Teng.
Sa UE, walang makasampu di ba?
Wala pa. The closest to 10 is Charcos right now with 8 points.
Pero dun sa 8 niya, karamihan dun sa unang parte nun, sa unang quarter probably 2 points in the second quarter. But he led us to get on track. Right now, the focus of LaSalle's half-court defense is to really shut down and contain Bonbon Batiler, who normally is already a double-digit producer at this stage of the game for UE.
Pasaol to Manalang. That's a foul on J-Boy Gob.
His second for on the Green Archers.
Now Abu Trotter is coming in.
Abu Trotter for
Looking at the roster of Coach Aldinayo, he also still has a lot of big-name players. We talk about his front line. Former player from NU, Dyke is still there.
Yep, Dyke, Mark Dyke, champion player from the NU Bullpups.
Prince Rivero. And that big guy was a shooter. He played so well for Coach Juno Sauler last year.
I see Larry Muyang there on the bench.
Muyang. Won some big games for the Archers last year.
Richie Rivero is there, the younger brother of Prince. Brent Paraiso, teammate ni Aljon Menesio from De La Salle Zobel, is also on the
dalawa yung
LaSalle
top
bench.
recruits from the program of La Salle Zobel.
Alvin Pasaol, the biggest contributor so far among the new recruits of Coach Derek Pomare. And Ben Embala going baseline for the stop.
For the third time. Once again abusing the defense of R.R. De Leon.
Manalang loses control. Varilla picks it up.
15.
Bonbon Patelier. He's not going to be afraid no matter who stands in front of him.
Foul number 23, Ben Embala.
Let's watch it one more time. Big Ben Embala. The explosion.
Yung unang slam niya, mahirap na yon. Although it happened in transition, pero mahirap yun dahil in the sky play. But the last two have come from their half-court sets. Using his ability to put the ball down in the basket floor and find the wrinkle in the defense. Siyempre, pwede mo sabihin, ang lakas pa kanan, tanggalin mo yung kanan. Pero kung ganyan, na parang nuclear powered, paano mo pipigilan niya? Parang may fusion Diba? Dito pa lang, ramdam mo na yung lakas
I don't think there has been a recruit from the Republic of Cameroon as athletic and as mobile as Big Ben
Well,
Embala.
probably in football, but not in basketball. Tatayo ulit, o din na ba? Maski sa
60,
PlayStation,
50.
Anton, mahirap kalaban niya.
Yep. Napakataas ng rating.
And one thing good about it,
Foul number 5.
when you talk about the experience factor, tagtag na sa laro ito Hindi na bagito. Probably first year in the UAP coming up para kay Ubala. He is already an exposed ball player.
And he was actually humbled by Ola Adeogun when they faced off
Last
in
year.
the NCC.
NCC, yeah.
Kung
Ola.
saan nanalo ang San Beda against
Right,
Lasal. And Adeogun
Right.
outplayed Ben Embala.
Right. I had the chance to talk to Ola after their win last year. And I was kidding him about what happened. He was just humble enough to say that it was just all in the spirit of fun.
Yes.
And that he had the advantage in terms of being the more veteran reinforcement compared to this young volcano.
Kasi nag-away yan sa Twitter Ang tinawag ni Ben Embala si Ola na pink cat.
Tama.
Pink cat daw si Ola.
Anong tawag ni Ola sa kanya?
Wala
Mabuti na lang.
Si Ola, nag-joke pa nga sa Twitter, sabi, hu, chamba lang pala kami. We know
All in the spirit of fun.
Yes, all in the spirit of fun. And I'm sure both players learned a lot from that, especially Big Ben. Thomas Torres to Aljun Melesio.
Breaking the press is not a problem for De La Salle versus the Warriors, and that's why they continue to protect a 13-point lead versus the dreaded Warriors press.
Now this sequence right here, we could be looking at the present and the future. Thomas Torres, graduating point guard. Aljun Melesio has 5 years ahead of him.
And that's a perfect way to illustrate it, the passing of the baton by the long-standing premier point guard of De La Salle. Oh, hopefully, star point guard in the senior ranks for the Archers.
Now Alvin Pasaol, a very deceptive player. When you look at him, you'd think he only plays in the paint, but he hit that big three against Ateneo that eventually helped the Red Warriors to win.
And I think he's a power forward who can play the three position as well, given his range from the outside. Pasaol, in their first game, double-digit scorer for Coach Derek Pomado with 15 points and 6 rebounds. They forced Ateneo to commit 28 turnovers, scored 24 turnovers versus the Eagles, but that is not the case today versus the De La Salle Archers.
Bonbon Batelier getting hit on the jaw by the shoulder of Kim Montalvo. We'll take a break, back with more basketball action when we return right here in the FilOil Flying V Center. It's the summertime, and of course a lot of pretty faces are in attendance here at the FilOil Flying V Center, checking out all the exciting action here in collegiate basketball. It is in full swing right now, the 2016 FilOil Flying V Pre-Season Premier Cup. And we're glad to have you with us on ABS-CBN Sports in Action. LaSalle leading UE 65-53. Batiner loses control, recovers the basketball, and Trotter fouls him.
You like the aggressiveness of Batiner here in the third quarter. Trying to be more aggressive and looking for the shots. And he needs to. Right now, UE is still behind by 12 points. And here in the third, they've so far only tallied a total of 7 points. As LaSalle's defense has made it difficult for UE to grab any open looks. What more, convert uncontested jumpers.
Bonbon Batiner was actually recruited while playing for HTC Gensan here in the FilOil tournament a couple of years ago. And now he's one of the top guns for Coach Derek Pomado. Jologo back on the floor for Coach Aldin Ayo. Melesio for three. You know, it just came to my mind, Coach Ronnie, that no team shot more threes in the NCAA last season than Letran. But
Right.
now you're wondering, who are the shooters? Who will be the efficient shooters for the Green Archers here now that Coach Aldin has arrived?
Well, I believe that this is a different set of materials that Coach Aldin Ayo has in his disposal. When we talk about the team of Letran, it was a veteran-laden team piloted by Mark Cruz, Kevin Dacal, and
Ray Nambata.
and Louis.
Yes, McJor Luib.
Yes, this is totally different. This team is powered by tremendous frontline roster. And of course, anchored around this all-around game of Jeron King. Iba ang pwede mong points of attack sa opensa. Pero yung talagang hawak ni Coach Aldin Ayo na filosofiya is yung mayhem defense na bala niya. But on offense, it has to be something different for them. But still based around the principles that he believes in, that would work for the Archers.
And he's talking to Aljun Melesio right now.
Right, the teaching never stops, especially for the first-year players.
Jeron Teng, Coach, we've seen him for 4 years in the UAAP. What do you expect to see from him in his final season in the UAAP?
Well, I believe that when you talk about his overall package, yung jump shot na consistent. And from time to time, we've seen that of Jeron Teng. leadership is always going to be something that's going to be expected of this young man. It's the consistency, the leadership, and of course the hunger that he needs to bring in once again to the fold of the Argents, because Ika nga is going to be the leader of the pack once again in his final playing year for.
Meanwhile, Alvin Pasaol, nobody checking him. And he scores off of that nice pass by Philip Manala. The UE, they're the type of team that doesn't mind the score. They will play the same way.
Right.
Even though they're down by double digits.
Because they want to force turnovers and then score off turnovers. Right now, they're not running and jumping, but instead giving a different zone press look to try and slow down De La Salle, because yung run and jump nila na-solve ng La Salle. Right now, different change-up for the Red Warriors, hoping that somehow they can force turnovers here in the half court. And this is their perfect chance, given that Ben Mbala is not on the floor for La Salle. However, Derek Teng continues to score for La Salle, and he had a 30-point game in their first outing, plus 9 rebounds and 3 assists with only a single turnover in under 30 minutes.
And this is a guy who idolizes Kevin Durant, but does not play like Durant. He plays more like LeBron.
Ayun pa pala, idadagdag ko pa pala yung accuracy from the free throw line.
Ayun, okay.
Something that we will expect of Jerome Teng for this year. Dati problema niya yan eh.
Yes, in his first couple of years for La Salle, his free throw shooting was much talked about. And then after he solved that, his jump shooting naman yung pinag-usapan.
Eh, kaya nga nung una, parang walang J daw sa Jerome dahil walang jumper. Pero ngayon, meron naman na. I believe that he is already very ripe for the pros if he decides to go and get drafted right away. But of course, there's the Gilas program if he intends to be a part of the national pool. A lot of options for this talented graduating player.
Bonbon Batiller knocks down that free throw. He's got 6 points in the game.
4 in the third, 2 in the first. For a total of 6, still not enough for UE to overcome a double-digit deficit.
Batiller taps the ball from behind, go, and Bonbon Batiller scores.
That's the way they like it. Referring to the UE Red Warriors, 16 third quarter points for UE versus 13 for La Salle.
Jeron Teng. Menescio for 3. Jeron Teng with one hand, putting it back up and in.
Uy!
Alvin Pasaol. Well, he wears number 23. He stuck his tongue out like Air Jordan.
There's something about the number 23 that brings out something different for our young and exciting players.
This was that impressive one-handed putback by Jeron Teng.
Siya na yung pumasa, siya pa yung nag-putback, kaya lang may knockout play para dito sa UE dun sa return play. As this young man continues to be Mr. Energy personified for UE.
Well, if you're a young player, a new player, and you have a lot of antics just like this, you're going to get a lot of reactions from the crowd.
They will remember his name, for sure. But the important thing is that Coach Derek Pumaren remembers that he's got game. And he's shown that he's got game for UE. He'll learn.
He'll have to learn how to keep his concentration too. He had an opportunity to get those 2 free throws in.
Eventually, he'll learn to tone it down.
Manalang and Menescio, they battled each other in the UAP Juniors. Now they meet again. Jeron Teng, double team. And now the pressure is rising. Jeron Teng not giving up. Diving for that basketball.
That's the advantage of Jeron Teng when he made this leap from the junior to the senior ranks. His body was already ripe for the UAAP Wars. And he continues to be a physical specimen, to say the least. Strong, athletic, and seems hard to get tired. Parang si RoboCop talaga.
One thing I noticed from Jeron is he's a lot leaner right now.
Correct.
He's in, because in the past years he was big.
Pag
He was
hindi
really
ka,
big.
pag hindi ka pumayat kay Coach Aldin Ayo, manhit ka. Ibig sabihin, hindi ka tumatakbo. Alam mo naman ang sistema ni Coach Aldin. Walang pok na tatakbuhan sa opensa at depensa.
Melesio sneaking up from behind. Pasaol almost coming up with a steal, but it will stay with UE.
13.8 seconds in the third.
13.8 seconds ang nalalabi dito sa ikatlong yugto ng ating bakbakan. Patilier, binigay kay Varilla. Manalang for 3. Tapi ka ng bola, kanino mapupunta? Kip Montalvo picks it up. Montalvo throws it to Melesio. 2 seconds to go. 1 second to go. Alton Melesio nearly got that basket to fall. The pace has not changed. Jeron Teng's game has not changed as well. What about UE? Ed Charcos scoring big for them. Clark Derrigue mixing it up with the big boys. Speaking of big boys, nobody bigger than this guy right here.
Ooh.
Big Ben Mbala, look out below. Thomas Torres getting it to the main man, Big Ben Mbala, who does what he does best, hurting that ring. LaSalle leading UE 73 to 62. But we have one more quarter to go. Stay with us right here on ABS-CBN Sports and Action. One more quarter to go. 10 minutes of what will once again be intense and physical basketball here at the FilOil Flying V Center. As you are looking at it right now, newly renovated. LaSalle versus UE, and the Green Archers leading the Red Warriors 73 to 62. Thank you once again for joining us on ABS-CBN Sports in Action. Anton Rojas together with Coach Ronnie Magsanok, and at courtside we have Janine Choi and Pauline Versosa reporting for LaSalle and UE respectively.
I already see Coach Ron on black inside the arena. The author of the 5-beat for the Blue Eagles.
10 seconds.
And every time Coach Norman watches his son Aaron, Aaron seems to be playing really well.
And, Adamson will play Ateneo.
Yes.
Our main game this afternoon, but so far UE not able to breach the double-digit barrier. As I said earlier, perfect time for them. Oh, bumalik na pala si Demolition Man Ben Mbala.
Halos walang pahinga.
Parang uminom lang ng tubig, eh, no?
Alright, balikan natin si Janine Choi for this report. Janine?
Anton and Ronnie, assistant coach Paulo Soler said that in this final quarter, it is important that the gentlemen in green and white put more effort and out-hustle and outwork the Red Warriors by showing more energy on both ends of the court. Earlier, the boys were told that for as long as they continue doing what they do and keep playing smart, then the outcome will be good. They need to remember to sustain their momentum and make the most out of every opportunity. That's all for now from the LaSalle side. Anton and Ronnie.
Thank you very much, Janine. And it looks like that they have really embraced the system of Coach Aldin Ayo. Although, during the post-game interview with Coach Aldin, he said, feeling niya, nasa 60 to 70% pa lang yung implementation ng kanyang sistema right now.
If there are 60 to 70% based on the projection by Coach Aldin Ayo, and that there's still around 30 to 40% on the upside, then it's going to be scary. They talk about the possible upside for this team as they continue to dominate their opponents, as they are tested once again for the second game in a row. Even again, it's Adamson. They were led into a dogfight, but eventually Ben Mbala and Jeron Teng with G-Boy Gop scored so well for them, accounting for about 63 of their total 98 points. And today, once again, they have not allowed UE to have a taste of the lead all game long. And the lead has ballooned to 15 upon the re-entry of Demolition Man Ben Mbala.
Varilla floats it up, doesn't drop. Battle for the loose ball. Varilla still no go, and Big Ben Mbala picks up the rebound. Let's go now to Paui Versosa for this update.
Anton Anton and Ronnie, if the boys want to survive this final quarter, they need to challenge all of LaSalle's shots. Execution has really been their problem since the start of the game, where Coach Derek even called it playing selfish basketball. The boys are too focused on outscoring their opponent that they tend to forget the game plan. Sabi nga ni Coach Derek, puro kayo jump shot. I don't see any passes nor rotations. All I'm asking is for you to play your game. Now, this will serve as even a greater challenge for the Warriors at this point of the game because, as we all know, the Pumarin system is a test of both stamina and endurance. That's all for now. Anton and Ronnie.
That's a great finish to that report. Stamina and endurance. If you don't have that, you're going to be just sitting on the bench.
That's always the foundation for every athlete in a. If you don't work hard enough in practices, how do you expect yourself to be a standout during games? Lalong-lalo na sa ganitong klaseng sistema.
Yes.
Hindi lang lalawit ang dila mo dyan. Tutukod at titirik ka talaga.
And to the players' credit, we haven't seen anybody huffing and puffing.
True. Kaya nga sabi ko, playoff type of basketball na yung ating nakikita. Kasi hindi lamang yung pressing defense naman yung bye-bye dito eh. Yung physicality, grabe yung banggahan mula umpisa hanggang dito sa dulo.
So if they're in great shape right now, imagine what type of shape they will be in once the UAP begins.
And that's why the programming of these athletes is so vital. You don't want them to pick this early and then suddenly go downhill when the real tournament starts. You always want to make sure that there's a certain progress upwards and never downwards.
And I see the communication between player and coach. Jeron Teng looking at Coach Alden, even though Coach Alden was so far away on the bench.
That's the connection that you want to build. That your one mind. We talk about bubble thoughts. That's to be always aligned, even when you're coaching along the sideline and when your key players are playing inside the hard court.
Benambala shaking that ring again.
So lang ang ipaalala, Anton, kagagawa lang ng ating akong mga basket. Kitang-kita ko ang kinis eh. But so far, alam mo kung makakasalita lang yan. Kung may meme lang tayo makikita dyan, nagsasabihin ng ating mga baskets eh, Aragoy, 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 ikaw na naman.
Big Benambala. Well, you mentioned that you coached against him when you were with San Beda. Imagine he had to play as a teenager against the likes of Jake Pascual and Kyle Pascual.
And we had to double team him because he was destroying every defensive scheme that we had against him as we tried to go single coverage on him. And I believe he had over 20 points in the first half. And when I asked the players, who can handle him one-on-one? And I knew what I had to do in the second half was to try something different. And we had to double or triple team or zone him because he was so strong that he could overpower almost the entire fight when he was inside the hard court.
And we're talking about Jake Pascual and Kyle Pascual here. Two very solid players.
Rome De La Rosa.
Rome De La Rosa, one of the best perimeter defenders that we've seen in the past couple of years.
And Ola Diogon.
Ola Diogon,
was
wow.
very young at that time.
A lot has changed. Montalvo, short on that triple. Armenion grabs the loose ball. Yui's got to do something real quick. Olayon. And Coach Derek Pumarin, as Pawi reported a while ago, puro kayo jump shot.
Ay sinasabi niya, but anytime you have Gab and Kubala there in the interior, protecting the rim, talagang puro jump shot. Ang makikita mo, he is not only a rim protector, he is a rim destroyer. And right now, you see all facets of the game of Ben Kubala being displayed clearly. Dominant on the inside, unstoppable when he gets that deep.
9 rebounds and 21 points for this native from the Republic of Cameroon, Big Ben Mbala. He and Jeron Teng have combined for 45 of LaSalle's 83 points.
Wow, in game 1, they had a total of 43 of LaSalle's 98 points. So this could be the projected dreaded 1-2 punch for Coach Aldinayo. They've been productive, they've been efficient, and been the actual leaders of this Archer crew.
Make that 22 points now for Benambala after that free throw. Double team. Montalvo and Melesio harassing the UE ball handler as we have Gagate knocking down that basket. Melesio gets it down low to Mbala against RR De Leon. That's good defense right there. De Leon was rock solid.
I thought you were describing Ben Mbala.
Well, to RR De Leon's credit, hindi nakalusot si Ben Mbala there.
That's good defense coming from Penuelas. Coach Derek Pumarin has plucked Penuela from deep sa kanyang rotation. And that's the ultimate mission for UE to break into this double-digit barrier and to put more pressure on LaSalle, which is pretty much the way they did in executing that comeback win versus Ateneo last opening day.
RR De Leon, drop pass, Gob with the rebound. Thomas Torres up ahead. Torres lays it up and in.
And
Another.
again, yes, perfect forward pass coming from Gob this time.
Coach Derek Pumarin wants to talk things over. 15-point lead for LaSalle. A lot of fans inside the FilOil Flying V Center right now witnessing this action-packed matchup between LaSalle and UE. And we'd like to take this opportunity to greet our very own Ate Maylene Concepcion.
Yahoo!
Happy birthday! Thank you so much for the food, the pizza, the spaghetti, the drinks, and of course the leche flan.
Nakita ko ang famous daughter ni Mami Nyorms.
Yeah, thank you very much. Our makeup artist making us look presentable every time we go live.
Parang nahirapan si Maylene sa akin.
Charcos with a crossover. Ed Charcos. That's what Coach Derek Pumarin was asking for, the fearlessness.
He wants to attack the basket and stay away from taking jump shots. Lead down to 13.
Abu Trotter. Now he has the athleticism also of Ben Mbala.
You got Ben Mbala on the right side and Trotter on the left. How do you go about defending these two frontline players of De La Salle?
And they have grown so much since that time that they were defeated by San Beda and the NCC. Let's take a look at this fearless drive by Ed Charcos. The crossover against Abu Trotter, and he's able to flip it up and in. A Haynes School play of the quarter brought to you by Haynes, America's first name in comfort. Alvin Pasaol.
This was the part of that game versus Ateneo that UE started making its move and cutting into the double-digit lead of the Blue Eagles. But right now, LaSalle is disallowing Red Warriors from forcing turnovers still.
Oh, Abu Trotter from Ben Mbala. You know, Coach Ronnie, this is something that I rarely saw from Letran. Big men passing to the other big men.
Wala naman sila masyadong big men last year for Letran. They have bigs who are more of perimeter players like Soriano. But right now, as we tried to highlight earlier, dito meron bala ni Coach Adinayo sa kanyang frontline rotation. Ito, mga, kumbaga, entry na to eh. Pero meron pa siyang mga reserva dyan sa gilid for him.
That play from Mbala to Trotter, the play of the game brought to you by Total Excellium, the fuel that cleans your engine kilometer after kilometer. So, mayhem will evolve here in Taft Avenue with the different materials that Coach Aldinayo has at his disposal.
Hindi lang sila malalaki. Sobrang lalakas.
And he's not holding back. Jeron Teng is back on the floor.
Saka sa rotation na ginagawa ni Coach Alden Ayo, nakadiin na agad siya.
Jeron Teng to Mbala. Fouled by Pasaol.
Make no mistake about it, this is not just a mere warm-up tournament for Coach Ayo. He's out here to win and win it all for one of very few multiple winners here in the FilOil.
I actually
Sila palang
thought-
dalawa yun.
Yeah.
UE at Lasal.
UE champion 2013, LaSalle champion 2007 and
Dalawa.
2014.
Oh, tigalawa sila. These are the two winningest schools in the history of this tournament.
I actually thought in the Ateneo game that in the first half, Coach Derek Pomarin was kind of holding back because Batilier didn't play much in the first half. And R. De Leon, after lighting it up in the first quarter, didn't play much in the second quarter. Mbala. Well, Mbala looked like he wanted to chase that ball, but he saw the commissioners.
He saw us. Well, kung hindi, tatalunin pa niya yan eh. E di para tayong napisat, Anton.
Buti na lang, he played nice. Our tournament commissioners, of course, Coach Atoba Delato, Coach
Wow.
Pepe Sanchez, Coach Arik Del Rosario,
The
and
icons.
Bert De La Rosa. Icons, indeed. Abu Trotter.
Grabe, no? Parang may bobbleheads doon sa loob eh. Angat dito, angat dyan. Unstoppable really underneath.
Double trouble.
Oh, no doubt. And the lead has ballooned to 21 for Lasal.
Thomas Torres. Short on that stop and pop shot. Here comes Charcos. Charcos gets it back. And Charcos will shoot. Hits nothing but air. Pasaol against Mbala. This newbie from UE is not afraid to go up against anybody.
He is a fighter, definitely, with his antics in his game. And after the timeout was called by Coach Derek earlier, after that score by UE on that penetration coming from the Warriors, they got to 73 points. However, LaSalle rattled off 7 straight points. 8 straight points, and since then, the lead has swung from 15 to a high of 21 with under 3 minutes left here in the final quarter.
Armenion. And the ball will stay with UE. What a game for De La Salle University. Mbala and Teng unleashed.
For the second straight game.
Both of them now with 48 points combined, 24 each from Teng and Mbala.
May Trotter ka pa, may Tomas Torres ka pa. And although Gob has not scored well here this afternoon, those 4 players that you mentioned were enough to push LaSalle to this 21-point lead. Because LaSalle scored 73 points in the first 30 minutes. Right now, UE is at 73. That is how well LaSalle's offense has flowed, mainly to the efforts of Jeron Teng and Ben Mbala.
Jeron Teng, I remember he was telling me how he started playing basketball. Nung una daw, hindi siya mahilig sa basketball. Wrestling daw ang hilig nitong si Jeron Teng. He used to watch a lot of wrestling. His favorite wrestler was Shawn Michaels. And they had a basketball court outside their house. Jerick Teng had to force Jeron to play with him.
Talaga?
Yeah, wrestling daw ang hilig nito. Hindi basketball nung una.
Wrestler na basketball player. Pwede yan. Pwede. Basketball player na wrestler. Pwede rin yan. Pwede rin. Galing eh.
Tabi ka ng bola. Inside shot does not fall right there for Ray Acuno. And Trotter gets it to Jolobo. Last 2 minutes brought to you by Haynes, America's first name in comfort. Karakut from Stephen Curry range. And finally, Coach Alden Ayo will give his 2 most utilized players, Teng and Mbala, a rest.
UE has 11 points here in the final quarter. LaSalle a total of 21.
Now for UE, Coach Ronnie, they're obviously going to have to go back to the drawing board. What do you think they need to work on to get victories in their next games?
And I'm sure execution is going to be talked about by Coach Derek Pumaren and of course Dindo Pumaren. And number 2, how come they had more turnovers than LaSalle? And 3, how come they fouled too much and gave up so many free throws? So basic things, all fundamental things, but definitely they'll try to work likewise on the mental side of their players. Uy!
And Jologo and Paul Varilla running into the commissioner's table right here. And making Coach Atoba Dolato's coffee fly out of the cup. But he's okay, and we'll take a break. LaSalle leads UE 94-73. You are looking at the De La Salle University bench, the camp of Coach Aldin Ayo. And this is what happened earlier. Jologo trying to save the ball, and
nag-draw charge si Coach Ato. Tapos may help side defense si Coach Ari.
commissioner's table right there. Overseeing everything here that will happen throughout the summer.
Nandiyan pa si Boss Virgil Vicencio para sa inside defense. Right now, De La Salle running away with the fourth quarter. As UE has failed to be able to level up in terms of offensive production as they've been kept in check within the final period.
Oblete spins. Varilla goes baseline.
Rare basket coming from Paul Varilla.
That's only the first field goal of Varilla here in this game.
At kung babalikan mo yung game 1, only the first basket of this tournament.
Wow.
That's over 50 minutes for him. Only 2 points.
Kim Montalvo knocking down that triple. And for LaSalle, that was only the third triple made as a team. Very different from what the Letran Knights were doing under Coach Aldin Ayo. They lived and died with a three-point shot.
Wala silang inside players talaga ron. Walang inside scoring masyado. They really relied on their excellent perimeter players.
Varilla. Montalvo throws it up ahead to Karakut, and with 20 seconds remaining, the Green Archers will just milk the clock.
And for the second straight game, LaSalle will score almost 100. And normally when you play against UE, the scoring is not this high. And this is something that Coach Derek and Coach Dindo will check after this contest.
And it is official. Coach Aldin Ayo still unbeaten here in the 2016 FilOil Pre-Season Premier Cup. LaSalle beats UE 97-75. The man from Sorsogon, a Letran alumnus, finishing with a degree in philosophy. And he says that his philosophy degree allowed him to think about the sport on a deeper level. And that philosophy he has taken to Taft Avenue, and his team wins against UE 97-75. We'll be back to wrap this victory up. And we have arrived at the conclusion of our first game on this Friday afternoon. LaSalle prevailing over UE in dominating fashion, 97-75. And our Frigo player of the game is Big Ben Mbala.
Demolition Man scoring 24 points, grabbing 15 rebounds and protecting the rim for De La Salle. And there's no doubt, sky's the limit when you talk about the potential for Big Ben Mbala.
And LaSalle remains unbeaten under Coach Aldin Ayo here in the tournament, defeating UE 97-75. And up next, we have the Ateneo de Manila University Blue Eagles looking to bounce back as they take on another team that lost on opening day, Adamson University. It should be a good one, so keep it right here on ABS-CBN Sports and Action. For our director, Raul De Ocampo, our courtside reporters, Janine Choi and Pauline Versosa, my partner, Coach Ronnie Magsanok, and all of us here From ABS-CBN Sports in Action, I'm Anton Ross saying stick around because we have Adamson versus Ateneo right here in the FilOil Pre-Season Premier Cup.